So I'm just going to give a brief intro to finding the equation of a circle in this video, and we're going to continue with problems in the next few videos. So the large majority of questions will be on this, finding the equation of a circle. Since there are so many different questions they can ask, it's really important you just understand some basic concepts and you can apply them to different problems no matter what they ask you. So generally we're looking for three things and we need three pieces of information. So three things, three pieces of info. So anything they tell you in the question, it's probably going to be a piece of info. Three pieces of info. And the reason that is, so we're going to have x squared plus y squared plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c is equal to 0. We're generally looking for g, f, and c when we're doing these kind of problems. So some of those basic concepts I was talking about, I'll scroll down and show you a few in this video. So the first one we're going to need to know is that, say we have our circle there, and then we get a tangent here. So remember, a tangent is a line that hits the circle at one point only. So that's going to be our tangent. Say we have the center of the circle here. And I'm going to draw another point from the center of the circle to the tangent. At the point of tangent, it's going to make a right angle there. Okay, so that's going to be the radius. And it's going to make a right angle to a tangent. So that's really, really important. So I'll say tangent, right angle, and radius, just as kind of a summary. Right angle and radius. Something we'll use a lot if we're dealing with tangents and their radiuses. So we're going to use this formula here, that d is equal to ax1 plus by1 plus c, which is the formula for the perpendicular distance between a point and a line. So that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about the perpendicular distance between this point and this line, and that's going to be the same as the radius. So we'll look at problems with that. You just need to know that that d there is equal to, or if we're talking about a tangent and the radius, right? So the next point of info we're going to need to know is about chords. So I'll just draw a quick picture of a circle again. I'm actually going to draw another one because that's awful. A little bit better. And I'm going to draw a red line across it. So this is our chord. So a chord is just a line that kind of goes across a circle. So another thing now, the center point of a circle. If you draw a line from the center point of a circle down to a chord, like this, 1, it's going to be perpendicular. 2, it's going to cut the chord into two halves. Yeah, that's really about it. But again, that's quite important. So I'll just say the perpendicular bisector of a chord. Bisector of, I'll just go by, make some space, of chord. And that goes through the center, right? So what do you mean by that? Goes through the center. So the perpendicular bisector of this chord is this purple line, and it's always going to go through the center of the circle, so that can be useful. And then there are two last pieces of info that I'm going to kind of talk about down here. So the first one is about subbing points into a circle. So if you sub a point into a circle, so for example, I don't know, you have a point 3, 2, and you have some random circle x squared plus y squared plus 2x minus 10y plus 7 is equal to 0. If this point is on the circle, then if you put all of these points in, so 3 squared plus 2 squared plus 2 by 3, so the x in wherever there's an x and the 2 in wherever there's a y, minus 10 by 2 plus 7 is equal to 0. But you should get at the end, you should get 0 is equal to 0. That's if the point is on the circle. So in this case, this point is not on the circle, because if you work through this, you're going to find that it's definitely not 0 equal to 0. So you need to know that, because there's going to be a whole problem on subbing points into a circle, trying to find its equation. So it's probably better explained with an example, but you do need to know that if you put a point into a circle, and if it is on that circle, then it will satisfy the equation. That's what it's called, getting 0 equal to 0 at the end. So it's called satisfying circle equation. Circle equation. And the last point, really, again, I won't make too much of a fuss about it because you'd probably need an example to really see it, is that if you have a line going through the center, a line through the center of the circle, then that's really important. So that's an important piece of information that you can use. If you have a circle and we have our center point and you have a line that goes through that center point. All right, so that's quite important, but we'll look at that in an example on its own. So sorry about that video, that it isn't kind of not too engaging if there's no problem, but it's just important you get these basic concepts before we move on to the questions, because so I don't have to explain them in every single video. This one's probably the most important, the rest of them are still important as well, but we'll see you next time for the first of a few videos about finding the equation of a circle.